Do you have a product to launch and needs a landing page for the launch? If the answer to this question is yes, then this video is for you, because in it, I'm going to show you how to create a product launch landing page with Elementor. And this is how our landing page will look like after we have finished creating it. In this video, I will show you how to create a header and a menu for your landing page, and I'll also show you how you can link up the menus to the various sections of your page. So if I click on product, it will take me to the particular section of the page. Now if I go back and click on demo, it will take me to the demo section, as well as the speaker section. Perfect. In this video, I will show you how to create this cool hero section with a counter, product image, and a call to action. And let's see what we'll get upon clicking on the call to action. A pop-up form where your audience can go ahead and fill in order to book their seat. In this video, I will show you step by step how you can create this pop-up form. This tutorial is actually going to be in two parts, and I'll be covering how to create this pop-up form in the second part. In this very part, that is part 1, I will show you how you can link up the call to action to this very form on your page. So, if this is what you want, then keep watching. Hello guys, this is Sadiq here at Dikupages Web, where I do web tutorials just like this one. So if you are new here, consider subscribing. That said, let's jump into the video. So to create this landing page, we need a WordPress website. It can be a fresh WordPress installation website or your own existing website. In the end, we are just going to create a single page for our landing page. So for this, you don't really need a fresh installation of WordPress. For this tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and use a fresh installation of WordPress, and I'm also going to use the Elementor Hello theme. So I've already installed the Elementor Hello theme as well as the Elementor page builder. So we'll go ahead and install the rest of the plugins that we'll need for this tutorial as we go along. So in the WordPress dashboard, I go over to pages and I click on add new. I'll give it a title and I'll call it landing page. I click on edit with Elementor. My page is open with the Elementor editor, and you see that it is not published yet. So first of all, I'll go ahead and publish it. It is published. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and clear all what we are seeing here. I don't need the title of the website, the name of the page, as well as the footer section of the site. What I'm going to do is click on settings. Under page layout, I choose Elementor canvas, and this will take off all what I'm having on my page. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and add my first section. So I click on add new section, and I'm going to go ahead and use 3-column section. Under the layout tab, I go over to height, and I'm going to choose minimum height, and I'll change it from pixels to VH, and I'm going to go ahead and give it 10 VH. Next, in the first column, I'm going to go ahead and add my logo. To do that, I go over to widgets, then I drag in the image widget. Next, I go ahead and click on it to choose my logo. In here, I'll go ahead and drag in all the images I'm going to use for my landing page. I have all my images here. I select all. Then I go ahead and drag and drop right here. I minimize this. All my images are uploaded. I click on my logo right here, and I go ahead and click on insert media. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and add my menu. For this, I'll go over to widgets, and I search for list. And I'm going to go ahead and use icon list. So I drag it and drop it in here. Currently, the layout is set to default. I'm going to go ahead and choose inline. I don't need icons as part of my menu. So I'm going to go ahead and first of all delete 2 of these menus. Now click on the first one, remove the icon. Then now I can go ahead and duplicate this in order to have my 3 menus. So for the first item, I enter product. The second one will be demo, and the third one will be speakers. Perfect. I'll show you how we can link them up to the various sections of our page later on in this tutorial. Next, I go over to style. Next, I'm going to go ahead and create some spacing in between my menus. So under space between, I make it 50. And then the alignment, I choose center. Take note, I'm not using icons as part of my menu, so I won't go there. Next, I go to text. In here, I go ahead and change the text color. I'm going to go ahead and use black. And since I'll be using the black color throughout my work, I'm going to go ahead and add it to my global colors. So I'll just give it black. Now click on create. So the next time I'm going to use the black color, I can just go to the globe icon right here and choose it from my colors. Next, I give it a hover color. So I click on color right here and I'm going to go ahead and give it this color, hash F0 B000. Perfect. So if I hover on it, you see my new color. Awesome. I'll also go ahead and add this color to my global colors. So I click on the plus icon right here. I'll call it yellow. Click on create. The typography, I click on the pencil icon right here. Currently it is Roboto. I'm going to go ahead and use Montserrat. I have Montserrat right here. I click on it and I'll change the weight from 400 to 500. I'll also go ahead and add this font to my global font. So I click on the plus icon right here and I'll call it Montserrat. Next, I go ahead and add my call to action button. So I go over to widgets and I drag in the button widget. I'll change the button text to book your seat and we'll link it to the appropriate section later on in the tutorial. Next, I go ahead and align it right. Next, I go ahead and style my button. So I click on the style tab. Typography, I click on the global icon and I go ahead and choose Montserrat. However, I will change the size to 20. The text color, I will make it white. And I'll add white to my global colors. The background color, I go to the globe and choose my yellow color. Border type, I make it solid. The border width, I unlink the values. And bottom, I'm going to go ahead and make it 3. And the border color, I'll change it to this color, BE8 B01. A dark form of my yellow color. I hope you can see the border color right here. I can also go ahead and add this color to my global colors because I'll be using it again. So I call it dark yellow. Next, I go over to hover and the text color, I go ahead and choose my white color. The background, I choose my dark yellow. Perfect. But upon hover, you don't see the border again. So the border color, I go ahead and choose black. Perfect. This is cool. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and change the width to my columns. So first of all, I select my logo column. Now go ahead and enter 20. And I'll do the same thing to the third column. 20. And the rest of the percentage will go for the menu column. Perfect. The last thing I'm going to do for this section is go ahead and add a background color to it. So I click on edit section right here. Under style, I click on classic and I'm going to go ahead and choose my white color, even though the background is already white, but I want to be sure. And now the header section of my landing page is done. Next, I go ahead and add my hero section. For this, I'm going to go ahead and add a new section and I'll choose double column. I'll give it a minimum height of 90 VH. Awesome. So take note, the header section was 10 VH and then the hero section is 90 VH. In all, I get 100 VH for the header and the hero section. Next, I choose a vertical line of middle so that all my content will be in the middle of the section. Next, I go over to widgets and I grab the heading widget. I go ahead and enter my text, best e-commerce template kit. I'll change the color and the style to black. Typography, I choose Poppins. Next, I change the size to 60 and I'll give it a line height of 1.2 EM. So I go ahead and click on EM. Perfect. Next, I go ahead and add a text widget. So I go over to widgets, then I grab the text widget. In here, I enter some little information about my product, but I'm not going to bore you with my slow typing. I'll just go ahead and style it up. So I go over to style I'll leave the default text color for now. Typography, I'll make it Montserrat. Next, I go ahead and add my second call to action. So in order not to repeat the same process for my second call to action, I will just go ahead and copy this. So I right click on it, copy, come down right here, click on paste. For this second call to action, I want it to stretch across the entire column. So I choose justified. Awesome. Next, I change the size of my text. So I go over to style, and the typography, I change it to 25. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and add my product image. For this, I go to widgets, then I drag in the image widget. I click here to choose my image. I already have all my images here. I choose the appropriate one and I click on insert media. You see that my image is too big. Let's style it. So I click on style. The width, I'll make it 63%. I leave the rest of the settings as they are. However, I'll give it a shadow by just clicking on the shadow icon. And you see that I have a shadow surrounding my image right now. If you want, you can go ahead and perform some more customizations on your shadow, but I'll leave the default. Next, I go over to advanced. Under transform, I click on the pencil icon beside skew. Skew X, I enter -10. Awesome. And then skew Y, I enter 10. Perfect. This is just to give my product image some flair. Now I've gotten all the elements I need for my hero section for now. And you see that my hero section is looking plain. So the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and give it a background color. So to do that, I click on edit section right here. Then I go over to style. And the background type, I choose classic. The color, I go ahead and enter in this color. Perfect. That is E4, E4, E4. And now the hero section of my landing page is done. The next section I'll create is the product section. So I click on add new section and I'll choose single column. I'll give it a padding. Under advanced, I unlink the values. Top, I make it 100, and then bottom, I make it 100. Next, I go over to widgets and I'm going to go ahead and drag in the heading widget. I go ahead and enter my text in here. Next, I change the style of my text to this same style right here. So I'll just go ahead and right click on it, copy, come down in here, right click, paste style. However, this particular one, I need it centered, so I make sure it is selected. Then I go ahead and change the alignment to center. Next, I add text widget. So in order not to do that from scratch again, I'll just go ahead and copy this. Then I right click under this, click on paste. Then I'll go ahead and change my text from here. I'll center my text under style. And I'll give it a padding of 150 pixels at left and right. To do that, I go over to advanced. And I unlink the values under padding. Right, I make it 150. Left, I make it 150. Perfect. Next, I go over to widgets and I'm going to go ahead and add inner section under my text. Currently, I have 2 columns and I need 3. So I just right click on one of them and I click on duplicate. In the middle section, I'm going to go ahead and add my product. So I go over to widgets, then I drag in the image widget. I choose my image. I have it right here, insert media. Awesome. Next, I go over to widgets again. Then I go ahead and search for icon box. I have icon box right here. I drag it in here. Next, I go ahead and style my icon box. So I go over to style. The icon color, I go ahead and choose my yellow color. You can increase the spacing and the size if you want. I'm not going to work on that. I go to content. The title, I change it to black. And the typography, I change it to Poppins. Size, I make it 20. Next is description. The typography, I make it Montserrat. And I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it. So I right click on it, duplicate. And I need this same icon box in this column. So I just go ahead, right click, copy, come in here, right click, paste, right click, paste. The icon box below is too close to this, so I click on it. Then I go over to advanced. I unlink the values and the margin, and then top I make it 20. I'll repeat the same thing for this. So I just go ahead and right click, copy, right click in here, paste style. Now that I have all my icon boxes in place, I'll go ahead and enter the features of my product. So the first one, I can change the icon itself. So I go over to content and I choose the icon, and the filter icon by name, I search for maybe weight. I have weight right here, something similar to weight. I click on insert, and the title, I'll change it to lightweight. So this particular Elementor template kit is a lightweight template kit. I'm not going to bore you by typing the description. So similarly, I'll go ahead and change the rest of the icons and their respective titles. Alright, I've entered the content, my various icon boxes, and now this particular section is done. Next, I go ahead and add my demo section. So I click on add new section, and I'll choose single column. Under advanced, I give it a padding of 100 pixels at top and 100 at bottom. I'll change the background color and the style to my yellow color. Next, I go over to widgets, and I'm going to go ahead and add a YouTube video right here. So I'll go ahead and grab the video I want to use here. This is the video I'm going to use. I just right click on it, click on copy link. I exit from here. Now go ahead and paste it in here. Perfect. I can give my video a start time and end time, but I'm not going to work on this. And the video options, I can make it autoplay, I can mute it, or even loop it. I'll choose loop. You can go ahead and play with the rest of the options. Going down, I'm going to go ahead and give it an image overlay so that people will not see the video directly. So I click on image overlay. I'll go ahead and enable it, and I'll choose an image. I'll use my product image, insert media. You see that this looks clean, perfect. So now this section is done. I go ahead and update. The next section I'll add is my speakers section. I choose single column. I'll give it a background color of white and the style. Under advanced, I unlink the values and the pattern. Top, I make it 100, bottom 100. Next, I need a heading element, so I'll just go ahead and grab this, copy, come down in here, right click, paste. Then I'll change this text to speakers. Next, I go over to widgets, then I grab inner section, drop it right here, and I'll need 3 columns. So I right click, duplicate. Next, I go to widgets again, then I search for image box. I have image box right here, drag it and drop it in here, and I'll go ahead and choose my image. I choose myself, I'm the first speaker, insert, and I'll go ahead and enter my name. The description, I enter my job title. Next, I go ahead and style my image box. So I go to style. The width, I change it from 30 to 60. Border radius, I make it 100%. Perfect. And the content, I change the title color to black. And typography, I make it Poppins. And the size, I enter 20. Next is the description. I just go ahead and change the text to Montserrat. I need the same customizations for the rest of the 2 columns. So what I do is I right click, copy, right click in here, paste, right click, paste. I'll go ahead and change the content. Perfect. And now my speaker section is done. Next, I go ahead and add a new section for my form, which my audience will go ahead and fill in order to attend the launch. So instead of adding a new section from scratch, I can just go ahead and duplicate this. To do that, I right click on edit section, I duplicate. Perfect. And I'll go ahead and delete this. I don't need that section. I'll change the heading to book a seat. Now I'm going to go ahead and skip creating the form and go ahead and add my last section, that is the footer section of my landing page. Then we'll come back to this section afterwards. So I go ahead and add a new section. I'll give it a background color of black. I'll increase the bottom and top padding. Top, I make it 10. Bottom, I make it 10 as well. In fact, I needed 2 columns and not single column, so I just go ahead and duplicate this column. Next, I go to widgets, then I search for image box. I have it right here. I drag and drop in here. I go ahead and choose my image, and I'll use this logo. I don't need this description. I take it off, and in here I go ahead and enter my copyright text. The image position, I change it to left, and then the title tag, I change it to paragraph. Next, I go over to style. The width of the image, I change it to 10. Next, I go to content, that is for the text. The title, I change the spacing to 5. The text color, I change it to white. Typography, I choose Montserrat. However, I'll decrease the size to 16. And finally, the vertical align, I make it middle. Awesome. The last thing I'll add in here is social icons. So I go over to widgets, and I search for social. I have social icons right here. Drag it in here. I'll first of all align it to right. At the moment, I have 3 social icons. You can go ahead and add as many as you want, but I don't need YouTube, so I just click on it, click on the icon, and I search for Instagram. I have Instagram here. Insert it. I'll change the shape to circle. Next, I go over to style. I'll change the color from official color to custom. The primary color, I make it white, and then the secondary color, I choose my yellow color. The size of the icons, I change it to 20. Next is icon hover. Primary color, I choose white, and then secondary, I choose my dark yellow. Awesome. Finally, I go ahead and add my social media links. To do that, I go back to content, and I choose Facebook first. In here, I enter my Facebook link. Next, I click on link options, and I make sure that open in a new tab is checked. This is very important so that your users will not have to leave your page. So similarly, I do the same thing to the rest of the social media icons. Then I go ahead and update. Now that all the sections are placed, let's go ahead and add the form. So to do that, I go to the back end of my website. I exit to dashboard. Then I go over to plugins, click on add new. Under search plugins, I search for WP forms. I have WP forms right here. I click on install now. WP forms is a drag and drop form builder. It is installed, but I won't activate it now. I'll add another plugin, and that is essential add-ons. I have essential add-ons here. I click on install now. This will give us extra widgets to the Elementor page builder. Now that I have my 2 plugins installed, I go back to install plugins, and I'm going to go ahead and activate them at once. So I select all, bulk actions, activate, apply. Plugins activated successfully. Next, I go over to WP forms, and I click on add new. I'll give my form a name in here, book your seat, and I'll just build on the simple contact form. So I click on use template. So already we have a form created for us. I don't need this particular section here. I go ahead and delete it. Okay, I'll add 2 extra fields. So I'll use single line text. I just click on it and it will appear right here. Awesome. I'll add another one. The next thing I do is customize my form. First of all, the name field, I click on it. The format, I'm going to use simple. I don't need 2 fields. Under advanced, I drop down the arrow under field size, and I choose large so that it will stretch across the whole width. Under placeholder name, I enter your name, and I'll add asterisk to indicate that it is required. And I'm going to go ahead and hide the label. So I click on hide label right here. You see that? I do the same thing to email. I click on it, advanced, I choose large under field size, placeholder, I enter your email, and I go ahead and hide the label. The next field, I change it to phone, In fact, I could have used the number field, so I can delete this and I'll go ahead and add numbers. I'll just go ahead and drag it and drop it right here. So I select it, I make sure it is required, I enter phone as the label. Under advanced, I change it from medium to large under field size. Placeholder, I enter phone, and I'll add asterisk to indicate it is required, and I'll go ahead and hide the label. I'll change the last field to location, perform the same settings. Now all my fields are in place. Next, I go over to settings. Under general, I make sure I change the submit button to book your seat. Next is notifications. In here, you can go ahead and enter the email address where you want your forms to be submitted to. If you leave this tag right here, your form submissions will be submitted to the email address you used to set up WordPress. In my case, that is where I want my submissions to go to. The subject line, new entry, book your seat. I'll leave it as it is, or maybe I'll just make it book your seat. And then the from name, this will put the title of your website. That is the name of your website. I'll go ahead and enter product launch, and I'll leave the rest of the fields as they are. Next, I go over to confirmations. Instead of thanks for contacting us, I'll say thanks for your interest. You can go ahead and customize it the way you want. And now the creation of my form is done. I just go ahead and click on save. It is saved. I exit from here. Then I go back to pages. I'll go ahead and edit my landing page with Elementor. Going down, under book your seat, I place my form right there. So first of all, I search for WP forms. In here, I'm presented with two widgets. I'm going to go ahead and use the one with EA. We are getting this as a result of installing the essential add-on for Elementor. So I drag it and drop it right here. And you see that my form is not showing. So under select form, I choose book your seat. I don't need the title, so I go ahead and hide it. Next, I go over to style. And the only thing I'm going to do is go ahead and style up my button. So I go down to submit button. First of all, the width, I change it from custom to full so that it will stretch across the whole column. And the normal, I change the background color to my yellow color. The text color, I choose white. Border type, I choose solid. However, I'll unlink the values and the width. And then bottom, I change it to 3. The border color, I choose dark yellow. Next, I go to hover. Background color, I choose dark yellow. Awesome. Text, I make it white. And then border color, I choose black. Perfect. My text is looking small. I go back to normal. Then typography, first of all, I change it to Montserrat. And then the size, I change it to 25. And now everything is set. Go ahead and update. Now that all the sections are placed, the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and link up the menu to the video sections and also link up the call to action to the form section. So I'll start from the menu. I just go ahead and click in there. Under items, I choose product first. The link, I enter hash. Then I go ahead and type product. Next is demo. I click on it, link, I enter hashtag, then enter demo. Finally, speakers, hashtag speakers. So now that I've entered the various links, the next thing I'm going to do is go to the particular sections. So first of all, the product section. This is my product section. I click on edit section right here. Then I go over to advanced. Under CSS ID, I enter product. Take note, the same text you enter for the menus, you have to enter the same thing as the CSS ID. However, this time around, you don't include the hashtag. So now if I click on product, it will take me to the product section. Perfect. So let's do the same thing for demo and speakers. So I scroll to the demo section. I click on edit section. I go to advanced, CSS ID, I enter demo. Going down, is the speakers section. I click on edit section, advanced, CSS ID, I enter speakers. Take note, it is case sensitive, so if you enter, for instance, capital letter for S here, it won't work. Let's try that. So if I click on demo, it will take me there. Going up, I click on speakers, you see that it's not working. So I need to go back to the speakers section. Then under advanced, I change the S to small letter. Now let's check it out. Speakers, boom, I'm right there. Perfect. Finally, I go ahead and link the 2 call to actions to this particular section. So I click on the first button, and the link, I enter book, or I just make it booking. So take note, you can enter whatever text. The most important thing is whatever text you are going to enter in here should be the same thing for the CSS ID. So I'll just go ahead and copy this, and I'll go ahead and paste it here. So finally, I scroll down to the book your seat section, click on edit section, under advanced, I enter my CSS ID, that is booking. Let's run a test on it. So I click here, it will take me to that section. I click here, it will take me to that section. Perfect. I go ahead and update. We can take a preview of it. Perfect. This is clean and neat. I like it. Awesome. So now the design of my landing page is done. So let's confirm that all our links are working. So first of all, product, awesome. Demo, perfect. Speakers, and finally my call to actions, awesome. Perfect. Now this brings us to the end of this tutorial, and that is the part 1 of it. In my next video, that is the part 2 of this series, and that will be the final part. I'll show you how you can create a pop-up for your call to actions, so that when your visitors click on it, it will show them a pop-up instead of taking them to the form right here. So this is what we'll achieve in part 2. So if I click here, it will open a pop-up, and this is the same form as we saw in part 1. Also in part 2, I'll show you how to add a counter to your landing page. This counter will tell your visitors the number of days left for their launch, hours, minutes, and seconds. And finally in part 2, I'll show you how to make your landing page mobile and tablet friendly. I'll leave a link to part 2 of the series in the description down below, so you can go ahead and check it out. So that's it on how to create a product launch landing page with Elementor. I hope this video was helpful. If you found value, kindly hit the like button, subscribe, and also enable the notification bell so that you miss out on future videos. Keep watching, and I'll see you in part 2.